Did Twilight Sparkle rip open the fabric of time and space just to save herself a headache? Or did she really mean to save the world? Welcome, Brony Nerds and Gamers, to Friendship Theory, a show totally not ripped off from a much better series. You might be asking why I'm not recording another Let's Play. Well, to be honest, I've always wanted Brony Nerds and Gamers to be more than just the gamers. I wanted to open it up to the nerds as well, and the bronies. And while dramatic readings can be easy and episode reviews are overdone, I thought opening the doors to a new idea would be a great way to really move ahead with this channel. And just like the show that I'm totally not copying from, why don't we look at one of the greatest loopholes of Season 2, time travel. In the episode It's About Time, Twilight Sparkle is visited by her future self, attempting to warn her of impending doom. After a lot of plot that solves nothing, Twilight resolves to use a spell from the Star-Swirl the Bearded super secret library to go back in time and try to warn herself that she shouldn't worry. Ha 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 ha! Hilarity, right? Or is it? Let's ignore the glaring fact that Twilight foolishly ran the residents of Ponyville around to solve a problem that did not exist, and focus in on just this one particular point. Twilight Sparkle, ripping the fabric of time a new one, was able to send a message to her past self. This fact is unequivocally true, but exactly how does she do it? You see, the theory here is tackling how exactly time travel in the My Little Pony universe works. It's not as simple as opening the bedroom door to tell your past self, still in bed, that he's going to be late for work. Oh no, there are bucking rules to this stuff, mister. First, let's look at the two instances of time travel we see in this episode. Both scenes where Twilight Sparkle appears to past Twilight appear to be completely the same. In fact, it's obvious that the animation was simply copied to the end of the episode to nail that point home. Everything playing in the scene down to the camera work is the same. Realizing that future Twilight must have been wrong about the disaster, she uses the same spell to go back in time and tell yet another past Twilight not to worry about any disaster. She then realizes that the future Twilight that went back in time at the beginning of the episode was herself of the present going back in time to tell the exact same and yet different Twilight that she didn't need to worry. Easy peasy, right, Pinky?
Easy peasy, putting in the breezy.
Or is it? One of the most popular theories of time travel is the multiverse theory. The idea that when a third-dimensional being crosses through the fourth and fifth dimension of time and space to enter a previous time period, a new universe is created from the original. Meaning when a third-dimensional being attempts to pass through the fourth and fifth dimension of time and space to find a point in the fourth-dimensional timeline where to enter as a third-dimensional creature again, this act creates a new fifth-dimensional universe, one where Twilight Sparkle is visited by another self, and one where she isn't. That means that this first instance of time travel in the episode might in fact be the 101st instance of time travel. It also doesn't tackle the much bigger issue. Consider this. Imagine you went back in time but did not have any knowledge of the time you spent after that point you traveled to. With the same knowledge, you would have no basis on which to make a different decision than what you already did. On the quantum level, even things that occurred randomly would happen exactly the same, because there would be nothing on the dimensional level to cause anything to happen differently, as long as no new information was being introduced. But in this case, a new piece of information is being introduced. Twilight is trying to warn herself of something, and past Twilight reacts. Twilight goes through a number of steps too numerous to even show, to check, recheck, and triple check the state of affairs of Ponyville. Actions that, given her schedule, she would not otherwise have taken. Which leads me to my big reveal. Twilight Sparkle was warning of an impending doom. But just what it was, or if it was even prevented, is yet to be seen. The fact remains that there would have had to be an original Twilight Sparkle who traveled back in time to warn past Twilight of something that had nothing to do with anyone traveling back in time. And what could possibly lead to Twilight Sparkle to break into the Starswirl the Bearded wing of the Canterlot archives, an area that is by all accounts sealed from the general public. To really tackle that, we have to look at the injuries that Twilight and future Twilight share. But for the sake of time, we can't ignore the paper cut, the bonk on the head, the eye patch, and the tattered clothes. The situations that caused these injuries would have had to be the exact same situation to cause the exact same injuries. The similarities are just too exact. But what about the frazzled hair? Past Twilight tries to remain in one spot to avoid the disaster, prompting mockery from Rainbow Dash and Spike. Spike grabs a feather and tries to tickle Twilight's nose, who in either desperation or anger throws Spike away with her magic, causing Spike to let out a large belch that fries Twilight's hair. But future Twilight wouldn't have been worrying about impending doom. She would have thrown Spike away to the wall for a different reason altogether. Or else a blast of magical fire would have had to hit her face for some different account. Could it be that Spike and Twilight had quarreled over something? Perhaps Twilight had discovered something while using her telescope. Something else she was looking for besides disaster. After losing her eyesight in her one eye, Twilight focuses on the sign that the disaster was still going to happen. But future Twilight would not have been thinking about that. She would have been focusing on her research. And there it is, the golden egg of this theory. In the past, Twilight Sparkle heads to the archives to find a spell not to go back in time, but to stop time altogether. It was only after a revelation about the situation that Pinkie Pie obtained a spell to give to Twilight. Since future Twilight would not have been looking for a spell to stop time, since she would have had nothing to stop time about. No disaster, really. But she would have been looking for something else in the same wing of the archives. Twilight Sparkle found what she was looking for. Perhaps an old tome with an old forgotten or unfinished spell. Perhaps a spell that Starswirl the Bearded had been working on. One that inadvertently changed the destiny of the universe. And after destroying any chance for her universe to survive, attempted to go back in time to stop the calamity from ever happening. As best we know, Twilight Sparkle both doomed and saved the lands of Equestria as we know it. But of course, it's just a theory, a friendship theory. Thanks for watching.